What's happening? This is the Fifth Quarter Podcast. I am your host, Ben Hustlin. Guy and Buckets in the building. TJ had to take a little slight absence, but he'll be back on the next episode. So, hey, TJ, hope when you do listen to this, we going to talk cold cash shit about you. So, we just letting you know. So, when you hear we talk cold cash, nah, I'm fucking with that's my guy, man. But thank y'all again for tuning in again, as always. Um, like and subscribe. We appreciate the love that y'all showing. Continue to keep showing that love, man. And we're going to continue to keep putting this content out there because we love sports. We love basketball. We love football. We just love sports in general and competition. So that's what we're here for. And we're going to talk about it as we always do and have a little fun and what ifs and all kind of shit. But this past week is coming into the first round of the NBA playoffs. And at this point, this shit is out of control
Yes, sir.
already. Like, man, we got Father Time is really struggling with somebody. You know what I'm saying? Father Time struggling to take somebody out. He usually is undefeated, but this one seems like it's a fighter, you know? Um, I mean, where do we start? But that's what we're here for, man. So appreciate it. Um, we'll start it off with this. Speaking of Father Time, everybody did have the Rockets, the favorites to win that series with the Lakers. And right now, those who did put their money down on Houston to win that series, you might want to have to go to work and get some OT to make some of that up because you might not get that money back because it's not looking good for you. Because the Lakers done jumped that 3-0 in the series. Um, LeBron is looking like, should I say playoff LeBron? Do you agree? And but
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, he's definitely looking kind of like Cavalier LeBron at least in the
yeah,
playoffs.
yeah, yeah, okay.
He's doing a good job. He is like
Yeah.
as much as we've, you know, critiqued the man this year. Like he's holding it down in the playoffs without his two other guys there.
And that's what makes it so excuse me, makes this so special though, man. Like for him to be his age and then for him to, he has, put in his mental that, he knows that he can't be the LeBron we all knew him, like vintage LeBron all the time. So he's had to fall back. And luckily, the Lakers put together and got some people that can definitely, carry the team when he's not able to, but they're not able, to be playing because they're injured. Speaking Austin Reeves and excuse me, and Luca, which are very valuable pieces to their team, and that's what helped them to get into the playoffs this year. But for him to sustain what he's doing, regardless of the numbers, if they're good or not good, but for him to keep the team together and still be able to be 3 up in this series, that speaks volume, man. Like
Absolutely.
Father Time is struggling with. That's why I said Father Time is struggling with this one. Any other person, he he is undefeated. You know what I'm saying? But it seems he's struggling with Braun for some odd reason. You know what I'm saying? Or Braun just like, no, I can't lay down like that. So, um, do you think that until Austin Reeves or Luca comes back, which I think Austin Reeves comes back next game?
He's listed as questionable, so I think he's a day to day type. Yeah, he's on a day to day,
Okay.
injury.
Okay.
So yeah, he might be back for the next game if they're lucky. But at this stage they're looking pretty good. If they need to keep him out one more.
Do you think that would probably be the smart thing? That's what I would do.
Well, I mean, let's put it this way. So the Lakers right now are up 3-0. I don't think any person, had that on their bingo card, them getting themselves into this kind of position, given that they lost their two best players. And I'm going to call them their two best players right now because they're the most um, important pieces on the team. I wouldn't say LeBron right now would be one of the more like, through the regular season at least, it's he's handing the keys over to Luka and Austin Reeves, so they basically did the most of the brunt work for to get the Lakers to where they are. So, but as we said, LeBron's really stepped it up. He's looking actually like he's an absolute leader out there. He's making his guys better. DeAndre Ayton's looking really good. Catching lobs from him, getting him in position.
It's all he
LeBron
good
out there
for.
as always.
That's
Yeah,
all he good
absolutely.
that's
Like,
all he good for. Cause
yeah,
I'm
and
sorry. One of
when
them
you got
games,
to
not to cut you off, but one of them
yeah.
games, that man only had 2 points.
Yeah, he can be like that sometimes, when he's just like, he doesn't know how to get himself open on the rim. But when you got a guy like as smart as LeBron when it comes to the game of basketball, they can direct traffic perfectly and tell everyone where they got to be and what they got to do. He's like DeAndre Ayton is really showing up and helping the guys get there. And, on top of DeAndre Ayton, Marcus Smart has been another one who's been
Yeah,
absolutely balling this playoffs, whether
yeah.
it's on the offensive end, on the defensive end, he's been getting it done. As a Celtics fan, I miss the man. And this is exactly why, and we're seeing it right now.
Mm,
So, I
well,
mean, you would have come into this season thinking Rockets are gonna walk away with it. They don't have Luca, they
excuse
don't
me.
have Austin Lakers don't have Luca or Austin Reeves, but, not having KD for a couple of the games as well, that hasn't really helped them much either. But still on paper, even without KD, the Rockets seem to be just a more complete, more better team on paper at least. But the Lakers are really showing it's a whole different ballgame when you get to the playoffs.
Yes, and Sangoon. Don't sleep on him now.
Yeah, man,
And
Sengu's been killing, but I
what?
do he has been killing, like, but I do think not having a true point guard right now on the Rockets, like if
Yeah,
Fred VanVleet being out with injury all season, and Reed Shepherd's he's still developing, he's still young, he'll get there, but like not having a true point guard and having Sengun to run every single possession, like yeah, he's a fantastic passer, but he doesn't really have that same quickness to break down a defense like how
yeah.
like Fred VanVleet might.
Excuse me. Why well, they should have made a call to Chris Paul then. Why they didn't make a call?
Yeah, running back one more with him being getting to retire in a Rocket jersey.
They could've. That might have would have been a help for him since you say that's the one thing that they kinda lacking that might, that's hindering them right now is kinda showing its ugly head in this series is they need a proper facilitator, and they don't have one. KD obviously, is KD, but again, you can't win games when your star's not on the court. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
and that's the whole reason why they got a guy like Kevin Durant, like that's why they went out and got Kevin Durant in the offseason. They last year, they had a really good regular season last year, finished second in the Western Conference, but when it came down to it, they just didn't really have that guy that they can, put the ball in his hands when they need a bucket at any time. And Kevin Durant's that guy. So it's obviously showing right now how much not having KD is hurting the team at the moment. Going down 3-1, and as we know, almost no one comes back from 3-1 deficit. But yeah. But on top of that, saying it's not all because KD's out. Like the Lakers have been showing up and showing out, every single one of them on the bench. Like the starters. Like shit, I'm gonna give him to him. I'm gonna give him his flowers as well. Bronny has played some quality minutes. He has.
Hold on. Can you say that again? I don't think the people heard.
He's had some very good minutes. Like not a lot, not a lot. He's getting his 8-9 minutes a game, but he hasn't been out there making a blooper reel. Let's just say.
Ah, so you saying there's a chance. There's a chance for the young man.
Yeah, he's hit a couple big shots here and there. He's been at least done something decent when someone's on the bench getting a rest.
Yeah. And it's all about productivity. And I'm pretty sure, pops in his brain like, look here, don't make me look bad.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't
Yeah,
don't
and
don't
yeah.
don't
I
make
mean,
me look
imagine
bad. Don't
imagine imagine you at 19 years old playing hoops with your 41-year-old dad, and he was showing you up.
That's what that's what I'm
You take
saying.
you
He
take
out
that
here.
personally. You're just like, man, I gotta fucking step it up because my dad's kicking my ass
That's what
right
I'm
now.
saying. My dad out here windmill dunking, tomahawk dunking and shit. I
That's
I
what,
can
yeah. By that age, you're 19, he's 41. That's when you're meant to be dunking and standing over him like he did when you were
Exactly,
growing up.
like, yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like, this is payback for all the times you was doing it to me on low key, you know what I'm saying? But, hey, nah,
That's when
congratulations.
dad's like, dad be acting mad. He's down there acting mad, but really he's kind of just like, that's my boy.
That
That's my boy.
I'm so happy. I wouldn't be dunked on by anybody other than him.
Absolutely. So,
Nah, but, nah, the Lakers are I will admit to agree with what you said, they are playing quite well in this series. Obviously, if things work out for them, they should go on and clean that up and get up out of there so they can get some rest. Because lo and behold, pretty soon you got to face the juggernaut. If you do advance, you'll be playing the juggernaut. That is OKC. If you advance, so you're gonna need all the rest that you can get, all the Bengay, all the icy hot, Nurofen, Panadol, whatever the fuck it is that you need to get yourself ready. But you're gonna be playing them juggernauts in that second round if you get there. So we'll just have to see
Yeah,
how that. We'll see how that. Have to see how that
it
turns out.
kind of doesn't work out too well for the Lakers. Because let's say, if they were able to finish the Rockets off quite quickly in 5 games, if they're able to take Game 5 when they go back, like normally that would mean they would at least have some kind of rest before going into the second round while waiting for the other series to close
Yeah,
out. But that just happens to be OKC and Phoenix, and we know how that's going to finish up. That one's going to
exactly.
finish quick.
And you know what? And the reason why it's so quick, because we quick enough to put that shit on the next episode. So if y'all want to hear about that series, that's gonna be on the next episode. We not doing it this episode because we already know how that story ends. Just like in a scary movie. You see said person, oh, what is that? I hear a sound. They go, everybody knows in the theater or DVD, if people still watching DVDs, Blu-ray, live stream, whatever, you know what the case gonna be. You know, hey, that person finna go look, they're gonna die. Same shit. Phoenix went into the Lions Den. They thought that they was gonna be trying to be Maximus on Gladiator, and they get their ass lit up right now. that's that's what's happening. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, hopefully we'll see what happens with the Lakers. Um, Houston series and see how that goes. And obviously they'll
Yeah,
probably
and
clean that up too.
unfortunately, still no timeline on Luca's return, so they're sort of just, keeping their head above water until they know more.
But what if we'll leave that
What
for
if?
next episode too. What if Luca comes back before they do play OKC? Now we might have a level playing field. Could we? Don't know. We'll just have to tune in and find out. Let's move on to the next thing, man. This is one thing, excuse me, I know a lot of people did not see coming. Um, Detroit, shockingly, is down 2-1 in their series against the Magic, which the Magic just came into the playoffs from the play-in and already up 2-1 on them. So the question I propose to you, sir, is is Detroit still worthy of holding this number one seed? Because granted, they have played well all regular season. Everybody's put up their numbers. Obviously, Cade had a few injuries and a couple other players had a few injuries, but they still managed to hold the ship and maintain that number one seed up until now. And it seems, do you think it's fatigue that's kicking in, or as we like to say, growing pains, because now you are getting this, your advance, you're seeing the progression of, from the work that you put in, but are they worthy of that seed, bro?
I think they are. Like they definitely have made their mark on the Eastern Conference, and they've run really well as a team, both offensively and defensively all season. They're definitely worthy of like making it to that number one seed, and they look like they were certainly the best team in the East all season long, other than maybe one other. But
Oh, here you go. Don't do that. Don't do
maybe,
that.
I said maybe one other, but yeah, I think it is a little bit of the growing pains. Like really, this is only their second playoff appearance for most of the guys on the team. It's the only time, like it's the second season really that they've been relevant since they've all come together. So they're all young. They're 23, 24, 20, like 24 years old. There's it happens to them sometimes, but there's still a lot of series left to go. Like this Magic team has been together for a handful of years now. The joy of Franz and Paolo have been playing together for what, like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
And they've added some good pieces into that over the years. Anthony Black, Jalen Suggs, Wendell Carter. They've the Magic team's been playing together for quite a while. So, they have formed they have had flashes of something that they can be in the playoffs. I know they've obviously never really gone deep in the playoffs or had a high seed at the end of the regular season, but they I'd say like experience maybe right now gives them a tiny bit of edge over Detroit, just because as you can imagine, a young kid stepping out there, biggest stage in your life in the NBA's. And yeah, sometimes I guess here, but like I said, they're only at game three. There's still a lot of series left to go in this one.
Yeah. It's just shocking that, everybody, obviously, besides the 5th quarter, because we know what it is. We're sports fans that ain't stupid. We don't get fooled by the hype. You know what I'm saying? We watch tape. That's the problem with some people. They don't watch the tape. They want to go off the numbers. No, 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 no. It's good to go off the numbers if you want to run it like that. But I like to look at the tape. I like to look at what's going on because then I can see exactly what's going on. And yeah, again, Detroit has played lights out the whole season. The whole season. Everything's been running well. It just seems right now to the other people's eyes, oh, they run into a buzzsaw. That is the Orlando Magic. And it's like, nah, you can't write them boys off just because they down 2-1 in the series. Still plenty of the series to go. It's just
Absolutely.
it's just crazy to look and you say, okay, in this matchup, obviously Detroit is the favorite, but they're down in the series. So it's kind of like, what's going on? Is Orlando hitting a stride now? Or is Detroit fatigued from holding it together the best that they could with injuries and suspensions and whatnot, you know what I'm saying, to get to this point, and now it's starting to wear them down because now obviously you got one team that basically didn't think they were supposed to be there. It's where you're the team that you were placed here because you were the best team in that in that conference. That's why you are the number one seed. But
Yeah, definitely.
it's I don't know, man. Hey, I'm a Florida boy, so any Florida team in the playoffs, man, I'm loving it. Like as much I would love the Heat, but I gotta live through the Magic. Any Florida team in the playoffs, I'm with it. You know what I'm saying? So, but I know their demise is coming at some at, at some point, So just but for now, it's just good basketball, it's entertaining basketball. It just got you on the edge of your seat because now again, storyline. Oh, well, Detroit mess around and get 3-1, or will they tie the series and get back on on the high horse they was on so they can go ahead and close this thing on out and get ready to play whoever's next, which I don't know. Is it Big Green? Would they play Big Green next?
They would go on to play the winner of Orlando and Pistons goes on to play the winner of the Raptors and Cavs.
Uh,
So they'd only see Big Green in the Eastern Conference Finals if they get
yeah.
there.
And then he had to throw that in there too.
I said if I didn't, yeah, if either one of them get there, but
Yeah, throw that
you can't
in.
even really put it down to a thing of like, is this got to do anything with like Cade's recent injury and like how he's coming back from it? Because he's definitely been the best player in that series so far,
Yeah,
amongst both teams, to be honest. But it's just a lot of the guys on around him in Detroit haven't really looked like they did all season long, other than game two. So if they can go out there in game four, do what they did in game two and get one back, then they go home with it tied up and becomes a 3-game series after that.
yeah. Well, we just have to wait and see on that one, but yeah, pretty much of a little bit of a shocker for most. I know some people on their sports parlays was like, I didn't see this coming. And now this is the crazy shit about that though. When you think, okay, well, this doesn't happen, you know what? I'm gonna start looking at some of these players and some of this shit. All of a sudden he's like, you know what? Oh, I like them numbers. I'm gonna let it ride, and then turn around that game is be the game where you lose your money. I'm not advocating that you lose your money, y'all. Just be smart at losing your money. That's all I'm saying. Just because that shit look good don't mean you should put your money into it all the time, especially if that shit is up and down. I'm looking at you, KD, because you blew one of my parlays, bro. I'm sorry, I had to put it out there. You blew one of my parlays, bro. I don't appreciate that, but still love you, man. Still love you, man. Slim Reaper. Um, Everybody, I don't know if y'all watched or have been keeping up with the San Antonio Portland series, which I've been telling a lot of people too outside of these fifth quarter walls, man. I said Portland's a little feisty team. They they gonna get it to you, or they gonna
Yeah,
work
yeah,
hard.
they got that dog in them.
Yeah, they're
They got
definitely
the dog in them.
feisty, but all feisty dogs have to get put down at some point. Sorry to say, they're put down, but um, Wemby had a little bit of a I don't really want to make jokes, but you know me, I have no filter when it comes to certain shit. But he had a little bit of an old man fall out there on the court.
Easy.
It took him like 5 minutes just to get to the floor, but when he did, put him down. Hopefully for a speedy recovery. Um, I think he played today in today's
Yeah,
game.
he did
Yeah,
play today
he
in game
played
4.
today. Yep, he played today. So that means he's getting back to his old self, or he passed concussion protocol. There was a thing going around circulating as soon as it happened that, oh, it's over for the Spurs. Oh, that'll do them. That's it. They ain't got enough firepower. That it ain't, especially against OKC and whatnot. But now that Wemby's back, obviously they played well. I think they were down 19 today in their game, and they came back and won, which is
Yep.
pretty effing impressive if you ask me. Um, but the question I pose to you, sir, is seeing how Portland is playing them, do you think that if Portland in the offseason goes and through their whole roster and just take a look at the wills and wants, do's and don'ts, and go out in the offseason and kind of fish around and get certain things, do you think that they will be able to be a little bit of a higher seed in the playoffs next year if they make the playoffs?
I think it's a combination of both, like, they do need like, obviously, them being in a playoff position this year, they're not exactly gonna get a high draft pick, going into this draft, and I think they're a little bit past that, they're probably on the back end of a developing brand new players, so they do need to make some moves to get themselves into a real competitive team. Because they were only a maybe to make the playoffs this year, but you can see the development of the guys within there as well. So it's a combination of continuing developing the young guys that they have there. Scoot Henderson, Shaden Sharp, obviously Danny Advia is only getting better and better.
Yes, he
Um,
is.
Donovan Clingan as well. But on top of that, I do think they need to find some talent to add to their roster, maybe through a trade or hopefully, if they're lucky, I'd say through a free agency signing. But unfortunately, that's one of the things about small market teams like the Trailblazers. They're not very attractive to big name free agents. So that's a difficulty that they will face. But, they maybe Dame comes back, looks kind of like his old self. And, he can give you 25 points a game at least 20, 25 points, that's going to be some help anyway.
So just for shits and giggles, throw a name out there you think would be perfect, like a decent fit for them.
Mm, maybe a stretch four, like a shooting big. They probably wouldn't be able to get a Lowry Markkinen, but let's think along those lines.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah, like
from
a
Utah,
big
from
like that can,
from from
yeah.
Utah. Yeah,
If they can get a big that can rebound half decent alongside Donovan Clingan because he's an inside finisher. He doesn't really shoot from range and work inside out. But if they got a big that can be a threat inside and outside, that would be something very helpful for their team. Especially the way that Shaden Sharp can drive to the rim and
What about
throw it down.
Sabonis?
Uh Maybe, but I don't know. What they'd have to give up too much to get him, I think, and it'd be a bit of a question mark coming off an injury as well, because he'd still have high value, so they'd have to give up quite a bit to get him. And he has spent the last couple of years a bit hit and miss with injuries, so obviously Sabonis is still a very talented player, so I definitely wouldn't say no, don't go get him. But it's just
Yeah,
the
you better
asking
not.
price would
Yeah,
be,
I would say you
yeah,
better not.
it's the asking price that would be the question mark.
Yeah, you better not. What you mean? Sabonis be balling. You tripping,
Yeah,
bro.
absolutely.
Yeah. But,
'Cause you don't
no,
wanna, deplete your whole roster just to add one guy and then, you go backwards instead of forwards, I guess.
maybe you
We've
should
seen
take
teams
some
do that
pointers
before.
from the Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah, just, "Hey, what is everything you guys have done in the last 5 years, and I'm just gonna do the opposite of that."
That's what I'm saying, like, take a page out of their book, when it comes to just liquidation, everything must go, but we gotta get
Yeah.
these players in here, and then all of a sudden, look at you, standing there in the corner by yourself with your drink in your hand and nobody in your face. Dancing to the music by yourself. That's what you doing. You ain't even in the crowd. That's sad, man. But
I
I
think it
do.
was,
Oh, go
when
ahead. I'm
we
sorry.
sorry, man, when we discussed it last week, I think we each gave one to Portland. I think we had the
Yeah,
Spurs going 4-1,
yeah,
so
yeah.
we didn't think it was gonna be a sweep. So Portland did get their one. That just so happened to be that the game that Wemby went down and, well, I don't know if you saw it, but, like, his head bounced off
Yes,
the floor. It
yes.
bounced off the
That's
floor, man.
that's why I
Like,
said it.
that was rough for sure.
Excuse me.
All of
That's
San
why.
Antonio was
Yeah.
holding their breath on that one.
Yeah, that's why I said it took him 5 minutes just to hit the floor. That's how tall he is. Take him a long time. That's a tree. That's why I said it. If you ever wanted to know what a tree sound like falling in the forest, there you go. Because that was pretty nasty though. Like, instantly, as soon
Yeah.
as he hit the floor, he was out. You know what I'm
Yeah, it
saying?
bounced, man.
He
His
was
head
out.
bounced.
He was out. He was out, bro. He was out of there. You know what I'm saying?
But, the Spurs did what they were doing all year, through the games that they didn't have Wemby there, and they held it down in game 3.
Yeah. Uh, I just don't want to see the brother just get, you know, banged up so much to the point where he retire early, man. Because I think that's one of the things that happened with Yao Ming. He was getting banged up a lot, bro. But
Yeah.
that man was an absolute beast, though.
Yeah, but
Like,
Yao Ming was in the West in the 2000s, so that means he was always matched up on Shaq
yeah, I get it.
every
That's what
time
I'm
they
saying.
played the Lakers.
Exactly. That's what I'm
So
saying.
that's why
Yeah,
he's
that's what I'm
getting
saying. He was
banged up,
getting
man.
banged up. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Like, but let's just say if he they weren't in the same conference or they didn't play each other, I think y'all would have had a little bit of a longer career, even though them knees and them feet is bad. But he would have had a little bit of a longer career, and you would have seen a little bit more of what he could really do. I just don't want the same shit for Wemby because there's so much
Yeah,
potential
definitely.
there, man. Like, and I get it. It's a physical game. You got to be physical. Obviously, most teams that have centers or power forwards, they objective is to be physical with you because they see, what I'm saying, that's what they know. They're using their size and putting their size on you. A person like Jokic, think about it. He posting you up most of the game. You really think you want that 200 and something pound frame leaning on you all all the time, backing you down, bumping into you,
Yeah.
turning around, throwing elbows, move. Come man, that shit wear you down. You know what I'm saying? That shit wears you down. And I just don't want that to happen to Wemby, even though I know he's an exceptional player. Excuse me, shoots really well, obviously finishes at the rim really well, protects the rim really well. I just don't want to see where he got to step back from the game because of too much. And that right there, yeah, everybody had they like, oh, because I sure as fuck thought. I was like, oh yeah, that shit's over. Yeah, this series is over. Looks like Portland might have get him one. Por- Portland might get him one. They might actually get to round two. They could if they utilize it right. But we know how that is. Put feisty dogs down, man. So that series
Yeah,
probably be played
never
up.
in doubt because,
Yeah,
just like we said in that game 3, the one game that they didn't have, so, Wemby only played 13 minutes of game 2 before he got hurt. He missed all of game 3, and that was, first game back in Portland, Portland's home game. They're supposed to defend home court, but the Spurs did exactly what they did all season long, and that was being led by Stephon Castle, who had 33
yeah.
points. Dylan Harper was incredible with 27, and then, everyone around him just backed him up the way that they were doing all season. So it's not really a surprise that the Spurs were able to hold down the fort without Wemby there for that one game, and then
That's
they got him
it.
back, and as Wemby does, he comes back and has 27 and fucking 11 and 7 blocks or whatever.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Because that's what they do.
yeah, you can't knock that, man. I don't know what to tell you on that, but um, Yeah, speedy recovery, obviously. Just stay healthy, Wimby. You're making it interesting, man. We want to see. There's two matchups we want to see, but one of the matchups we might not see now, which we finna get into that. And I think this is the one that me and you both, because we talked about this before we came on. That this might be a game changer here, and it looks like it is a game changer here. Like nobody kind of seen this shit coming neither.
Yeah.
But, Denver down 3-1 in a series. Hold on, let me just break down the components of this. Let me probably see if I can do this short order. 3-1 Minnesota lead. Joker still balling. Joker Murray still balling.
Yep. Yes, they are.
Injuries, Joker putting his hands on people. That pretty much sums it up. That sums it up. That's about all right. About something like that. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
What up?
I mean, this is what we called going into this playoffs. Well, like, this is the matchup we're all looking for. We're
Yeah,
like, these two teams have they've had some incredible meetings over the last couple of years. I think Denver's won one, and Minnesota's gotten one. So they're 1-1 in the last couple
and it's
playoff
looking like
matchups that they've seen.
Minnesota
So
might win another one.
yeah, so this is the
Shit,
one that we're all looking forward to a hell of a lot, and you know, uh, and some unfortunate events have come to fruition, which so we might not get the playoff series we hoped for. But then again, it might even I wouldn't say make it better, but make it more interesting when you see what's happened.
bro. I mean, again, this was one of those, like I said, and in the Detroit Orlando series, like people when you look at it on paper and what Vegas and everyone else had it, they had basically Denver kind of, I believe, a small margin to get up out of this series, but this shit ain't looking too good for for Denver. I don't know what happened or what's happening, like what's going on here, but it's not looking good for them boys. But the injuries on Minnesota that happened within the last couple games, one game, two players, Edwards and DiVincenzo. Shout out DiVincenzo, man. Get well soon, brother. I'm telling you, I know how it is about these Achilles injuries, man. That and it seems like I was telling you earlier, and like they're starting to become more frequent. Those are
Mm,
kind of like
yep.
rare. Those are kind of rare injuries if you think about it. Think about it. Early 2000s, you didn't
Yeah.
really hear
Almost
about
unheard
that.
of.
You always heard more knee injury or ankle injury. Something along those lines. Not too many Achilles. Obviously, when Kobe did his, that was noteworthy, but it was very rare, even in the NFL, very rare. Now it's almost seemed like, and I'm knock on wood, you know what I'm saying? I'm not wishing it upon no players. I want everyone to be healthy when they play, you know what I'm saying? Because that's when we get the best. But it just seems this one injury here seems to be reoccurring and is reoccurring at the wrong times. Excuse me. I believe you pointed out a fun fact shared with the folk that in the last four playoffs.
Actually, just between last playoffs and this one, we've had four players, all wearing the number zero, coincidentally, go
Wow.
down with an Achilles tear as well. So, and unfortunately, they've all done it in pretty much the same style, as in, just sort of, you're moving your feet, staying in position, guarding your man, sort of as you step back, and then loose ball swings the other way, and you have to step hard off that foot so you get the explosiveness to lunge and head towards the ball as quick as you can. But they've all done it on that,
Yeah.
step back, lunge forward. It was all it like the four times we've seen it in the past year.
This shit is crazy,
Crazy,
man.
man.
And
Like
like, yeah.
yeah, and
But
unfortunately, that's one of those things that happen because like Minnesota, we had what do we have last week? We had Nuggets coming out of this one. I think we all agreed
yeah,
on that the
yeah,
Nuggets would come out
yeah.
and that was fair enough because all season long Nuggets were looking like the better team going into the playoffs. The Nuggets were looking like a better team, but Minnesota. That's what happens in the playoffs. Though Minnesota showed out in game two and took one on the road. You know, um, got themselves home court advantage in that way. They held it down again in game three until, unfortunately, we lost Dante Giv they lost Dante DiVincenzo to the Achilles tear, like you just said, and
Yeah.
um, lost Anthony Edwards to a hyperextended knee, so he might be out for significant time as well. But enter Ayo Dosunmu, and he wasn't going to have none of that. 40,
I believe the young man dropped 43 on their ass.
43 points, he did.
Off the
Yes, sir.
bench. Off
Off
the
the bench, yeah.
bench. Don't sit up here and
Very, a
tell me.
very, a very underrated trade deadline pickup.
And you know what? And he came from Chicago, yeah?
Yeah.
Isn't that don't we recall we had spoke a few episodes back about how they had too many guards?
Yep. And that's one of the guards that they decided they were going to give up.
Which now you looking at it like, where are you at,
And
Chicago? Where you
yeah,
at
for real.
now?
And it's funny as well because the other guard that they gave up was Kobe White, and we all saw what he did in that play-in game against the Heat.
And he made it or was one step closer to making it to the playoffs. So that was
So did Chicago really need to make those moves, or should have they just done some re-signing?
like you let two looks like premier players. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You let them walk out the door, and now look at it. Look at one of them is potentially finna advance to the next round of the playoffs.
Yep.
Oh, I know it.
Absolutely correct. Yeah.
He
But, it's not I wouldn't say it's all, Tim Wolves' triumph. I mean, like, if I'm being completely honest, like Aaron Gordon has not quite been playing like the way he has been most of the season. Jamal and Jokic are out there just basically carrying that team by themselves, a two-man army. Christian Brown has not been fantastic either, but Minnesota has really come together as a collective unit, and they're going to have to keep doing that now with their star player and their starting point guard out.
Yeah, that's tough, man. But like we said, it makes it interesting now. It makes it like, can is Denver going to capitalize? Well, you would hope they would capitalize on this because now Minnesota might be a little thin in certain spots. But if they got a 3-1 lead in the series, and usually most teams, if you know what you know, your mind frame is coming to this game, we shooting to kill. We don't have time to
Yeah.
play around with you. We want to get out of here. We got you down where we want you. We don't want you to, 3-2, 3-3. It gets 3-3. Yeah. Pretty much all the momentum that the team who had you, who was up, that shit is gone out the window now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
Serious
Yeah.
tie now. So now, what I'm saying, the pressure is on you. It's not more of the other team. Um,
Yeah,
so
absolutely. I mean, like, and they're going back to Denver for another game. So game five will be played at home in Denver. So, they really got to try to keep it together and, try to extend the series and keep going until, maybe force a game seven. But they've got to really, let's say not crash out. We all saw what happened at the very end of game four when Jaden
I
McDaniels
was
very,
just
very,
about
very
to, yeah, I was just about to get into that. I was just
very,
about to.
very, very cheekily threw you down a late one when the game was pretty much decided.
All right, I'm gonna say, all right, fuck it, we here now. And if if you were on the court, and obviously, I believe, who was that who passed him the ball?
Mike Conley.
And Mike kindly tossed you the ball, and you already down there. s- Clock's winding down. You're right, like literally, you're right by the goal, bro. When he threw you the ball, you're right there by the goal, like literally 2 steps and just lay that shit in. Would you lay it in, bro, or just bounce it one time and then just let the clock? What would you do?
Abso-fucking-lutely, I would lay it in. They just won a game that they were probably not meant to win. They lost their star player, they lost their starting point guard in that game. They're in front of the home crowd, and they just won that game convincingly as well.
Yeah.
I 100% would throw it down.
All right. Now, my next question to you is: after you did that, you so happen to be celebrating and you look up and you see a 6'9", oh, I'm sorry, 6'10", almost 7-foot man running across, big man running across the court at you, and he run up on you and he say either in his native tongue, "The fuck is wrong with you?" or he say in his broken English, fuck is wrong with you? What would you do then? What would you do then?
Me, I probably need to call for a cleanup in my shorts. No, I don't really. I mean, I've had that happen to me before.
Yeah,
Like it's a
I
game at the end
know,
of the
I
day.
know.
If he's gonna throw a swing over that, I'm kind of just like,
Yeah.
fucking do it. Let's see what happens.
But to be fair, I understood,
I get the etiquette part of it for sure.
Jokers, I get that too, but I understand the reason why he went, you know what I mean? Like, him himself, it's not like he went and told everybody on the bench when the shit jumped, "Hey, look here, man, if he scoring that shit, then we rushing." You know what I'm saying? We rushing the bench, like, we gonna flood the bench. Like, this was the act of himself. He did this himself. He
Yeah,
didn't get nobody
you can kind of
involved.
you
He
can kind of
went.
call that like
Yeah,
a bit of like his leadership role, I guess. Like
yeah,
obviously as a leader, you shouldn't be getting in fights at the core, but at the same time, like as a leader on your core, you got to show your guys that I'm gonna do like there's nothing I wouldn't ask you guys to do that I wouldn't do first, and he was the
exactly.
first man in.
Thank you. Well, the only man at that point, because he was over there, it was like the whole bench was against Jokic.
Yeah, but
Like,
honestly, man, that's the type of thing that Minnesota's going to need, to carry through this series. Like, obviously, they're 3-1 now. As we said before, it's very, very rare instances where a team has ever come back from being down 3-1 in the playoffs. But we've actually seen Denver do it twice
hmm,
in the last handful of years.
yeah.
So, if anyone can do it, they can. So, Minnesota really need to stand on business, especially the man that we were just talking about, Jaden McDaniels, because if I recall correctly, he called out everyone on that Nuggets team and basically said they're all a bunch of parking cones.
Oop,
Not those exact words, but
yeah,
it was, "What's your game strategy?" It's just like, "Oh, we just gotta go at all their bad defenders, we gotta go at Jamal, we gotta go at Jokic, we gotta go at Aaron Braun, we gotta go at Christian Braun." And then the reporter's like, "Well, so you're just gonna go at everyone?" He's like, "Yeah, yeah, they're all bad defenders."
yeah. Oh, that's what I'm talking about. And
So,
then
he's got some words that he needs to make sure he's not eating later.
so now it makes sense why he laid that shit up at the end of the game.
Yeah.
So it's just
He got
basically he want the smoke. He wanted the
He
smoke.
wants all the smoke.
He wants all the smoke, bro.
But
Damn.
this is a rivalry now. I think we can officially call this matchup a rivalry, man. They've
Yeah.
had like would be the third time in 3 years that they've played off against each other, and all of which has been fantastic series.
So now you're saying Jokic finna come in next game and drop 50.
It wouldn't surprise me, man. Like, yeah, that's something that he's gonna have to do.
He finna drop 50
He's gonna have to
now.
have the other guys around him for sure step up as well. Like it can't just be him and Jamal Murray carrying the entire show. They need to do exactly what they did to get them there and that get them this far in the first place, and that was having the guys around him help out.
Yeah. Well, yeah, again, nobody seen this coming. Nobody kind of seen this coming, especially, obviously everybody had their doubts of Minnesota and they was like, yep, oh yeah, basically Denver finna bounce them, you know. It's not gonna be a long series, but now here it is, flip side. Now you like Denver could potentially be bounced in the first round of the playoffs, which now means the matchup that a lot of people wanted to see, including myself, and I assume you and TJ wanted to see, was Wimby and Joker. And
Yep. Yeah.
that's a matchup we wanted to see. If it was conference finals, we want to see it. We want to see it. But now we might not be able to see that. You know what I'm
But
saying?
just like we said about the Pistons and Orlando series, there's still 3 games left to be played.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, Nuggets have to win all of them. Minnesota is without their 2 stars, so I'm not gonna write Minnesota off considering what they did
Nah.
without their stars in the last game. They gotta hold the fort down exactly like they did right then for at least one more game.
Well,
Otherwise, yeah, I wouldn't call this Nuggets team down, and they're down, but they're not out just
yeah.
yet.
No, 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 no. I completely agree with you on that. It's just, yeah, just kind of crazy in this multi-universe that we live in when we see certain shit. You're like,
Yeah.
that's not supposed to happen. That's not supposed to be happening.
Yeah, and the way that Edwards came down to
Yeah, that
hyperextend that
was
knee, man, I was
ah,
like,
ugh.
"You've done that, like, you've landed like, that's how you come down. You've done that a million times, like,
Yeah,
and just that one time where you land a little bit wrong and, oh, yeah, he's always because he's a high flyer, he gets
yeah,
up all the time.
yeah.
He's landed on those legs thousands of times and just that one.
And I get it, and I do understand, when you're in the heat of the moment, you're not really worried about your legs and your knees and your ankles, and you're not worried about that shit. You out there trying to win a game. You're trying to make a play. Excuse me. You're trying to do everything to win that game and help your team. So you is quote unquote putting your body on the line. But
Yeah.
sometimes it's just like, oh man, But you can't, as a competitor, you can't be thinking about that shit in the back of your mind though. Like, oh shit, am I gonna come down on my knee wrong, or oh shit, am I gonna get tangled up and hit the floor or, you know, shit like that? Because then guess what? That takes away from your game. You're too busy worried about not getting injured instead of
Mhm.
playing the game. You know what I mean? That's why I can give Tatum his flowers. You know what I'm saying? Like for him to come back and come play, and obviously to have, adjusted himself where he's taken that fear of, oh, what if this happens again? You could tell that is well in the rear view with him, and he's just playing the game how he was playing before he got injured. You know what I'm saying? So I give him his flowers on that because again, tough. When Halliburton comes back and he comes back fired up, I'm gonna say the same shit about him if he can do the same
Definitely.
same thing. You know what I'm saying? Put that in the rear view and just play your game. You know what I'm saying? Like just play. You can't play cautious because then
Yeah.
you're not being you. We're not seeing the final version of you. Excuse me, that we're used to. So, um,
Yeah, man. And I was gonna say real quick, I definitely appreciate what you had to say about Tatum right then, because a lot of people are looking at him like, um, when he's having a little bit of an off game right now, they're treating him like as if he's been there the whole season. It's
yeah,
not just like he's only played 18 games as of right now. Like, look at the shit that he's doing, having only played 18 games since last June.
yeah,
And there is talk here and there that like where they just talk about him like he never left.
yeah.
So
No,
he's got to be commended. I'm like, obviously, like, that's my guy from my team,
yeah.
but at the end of the day, if someone comes back like that to get straight into the form they're in now, that's fucking unbelievable.
No, that's why I'm giving him his flowers now. Don't get the helium head. I just was saying, I'm giving credit where credit's due. You know what I'm saying? Like yes, and he was one of those people I can see coming back from an injury. Yeah, like he's put that behind him, and now he's just focusing on playing and getting back to himself. You know what I'm saying? He's not doing certain shit and being cautious. Obviously, you're gonna have some sense of cautiousness, but not to where it alters your game. You know what I'm saying? It
Yeah,
takes you out your game. And you can
a lot
see,
of players do
yeah.
say that after coming back from a gruesome injury. They're like like rehabbing your mind back into the
Mhm.
state it was before the injuries. One is just as hard as rehabbing your body.
Exactly. Excuse me. And so I commend him on that. I'm gonna give him his flowers, but hopefully, we just gotta, as athletes, just gotta take better care of your body, man. As much as you can. But I get it. When you're in the heat of the moment, shit's gonna happen. And yeah, the way Wemby fell and had his incident, DiVincenzo, you know what I'm saying, with his instance and with his instance. It's crazy, man. Like, and these are things we don't want to see, but we know that's part of the game. So, speedy recovery to all those individuals, and hopefully we can continue to keep seeing playoff basketball at its finest, which we only in the first round, y'all. And
Yeah,
already, already this shit is already topsy turvy. So I can appreciate them putting a health and limbs on the line, man, for entertainment. But at the same token, too, they're still people. So prayers is always going out to them and their families. And yeah, but thank y'all for tuning in. We just wanted to tap in for a little bit. Got another episode coming up later on in the week. TJ will be back so we can just to give y'all insight because I know he want to talk about that Knicks Atlanta game. No, he want to talk about
yeah,
that because he was sitting here talking all that cold cash shit about how New York is pretenders, and now yeah, looks like that might be a battle of the East right there too. Probably one of the more competitive series
Oh yeah.
in the
Yep.
East Conference anyway. So we'll be, we'll love to have him back, and we're gonna get on that on next week's or next episode, I should say, and a couple other things. But other than that, anything else you want to mention? Any favorite, honorable mentions? I would say before we get up out of here, man.
No, that's pretty much it. We'll just I'll just say for the listeners at home that currently the Cavs and Raptors are tied up 2-2, and the Knicks and Hawks are also tied up 2-2. So we'll do a little bit more coverage of those two in the next episode when because I'm sure TJ's got some things to say about those two series.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? See, TJ, man, we miss you, bro. You know how this is because we know that we got some crazy shit off your dome you would fucking say right now. And I know he chewed me out about the whole Tatum giving Flower gate. I would have caught an earful from that, about that. But it's all good, man. It's all love, man. Sometimes you got to give credit where credit's due. But again, y'all, thank y'all again for tuning in. As we always ask, if you don't mind, like and subscribe. You know what I'm saying? Check us out. And again, we do appreciate y'all who is listening, man. Y'all know who y'all is. And just, we appreciate y'all rocking with us, and we're gonna keep it coming. So on that note, we'll catch up with you on the up and up. Talk to you later, y'all.